So when it comes to training, people tend to focus on muscle size and muscle strength, and most commonly aesthetics and body image. But it's actually your nervous system which is at the core of all of your training. So Dorian Yates is a great case study. First of all, because if I put him in my video, more people are going to watch. But second of all, on a more serious point, his training principles really highlight how you can work with your nervous system. And this is down to two things that he used to do. The first is by lifting heavy. The second is by using acceleration through the positive of his reps. So when we talk about sports science in the tempo of lifting, a lot of people focus on the negative contraction, the time and attention for muscle building, but the actual speed through the positive, the acceleration, can be ignored, and it's absolutely vital for stimulating your nervous system. And so it is by understanding motor units that you can create a training program to stress your body to force adaptations at the cellular level. The stimulus, the sensory input, which is your weightlifting, the integration, the way in which your body communicates and handles this input, and the motor output, which is the action that's created. And that's the basis of all training. And so you need to think of your nervous system as your central nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord, which controls everything that you do. And then your peripheral nervous system, which detects the input and sends the messages to your central nervous system, your brain, which will then cause the reaction by your body, the movement. For example, if you lift heavy, if you do a maximal deadlift, the information that is being sent to your brain is that more motor units need to be recruited than if you were doing a light warm-up with 10 easy reps to get the blood flowing. And furthermore, within your peripheral nervous system, you have your somatic nervous system, and this is responsible for the movements of your skeletal muscle. And so when we are lifting, when we are training, our central nervous system is sending this information to the muscles to contract and perform the movement. And so it is vital that we understand motor units and muscle fibers. Your muscle fibers are grouped together within the motor units. And of course you have different types of muscle fibers. The type 1 and the type 2, the endurance and the power fibers. So it's these bundles of muscle fibers which are absolutely vital to your increase, your potential increase in strength and size. And this is the definition of functional muscle. You hear the word functional used in so many different formats of fitness, but it's actually your nervous system being able to efficiently recruit motor units, which in my opinion is functional. So think about this. When someone is new to lifting, why is it that they become much stronger, much quicker? Now, it's not due to an increase in muscle size. Muscle size does contribute to strength. But for beginners, after 2.5, 3 weeks of lifting, the muscle actual size will not be too much greater in relation to their strength increase. And of course the answer is the adaptations in your nervous system. It is due to your nervous system activating these dormant motor units. When you were sitting on your couch doing nothing, your body did not have to use all these muscle fibers and motor units and send these signals to the brain. Now you're creating this new stress. These muscle fibers are becoming online, and this is where your initial strength increases will come from. And what about this? How many times have you heard, should I lift heavyweight or should I lift lightweight? Now of course there are a variety of factors that contribute to this, and I would say do both, but your nervous system can give you good guidance as to why lifting heavy can be so effective. It is not just about tearing muscle fiber and the subsequent increase in muscle size. Dorian Yates lifted heavy. Yes, you're going to tear the muscle fiber. Yes, you're stressing the muscle, but you're also stressing that nervous system, which is contributing to this adaptation within the muscle. And if we look at the Henneman principle, we can suppose that by lifting heavy, you are creating a greater stress than lifting light, which is activating those hard to reach type 2 muscle fibers, those powerful muscle fibers. So in essence, you're having to dig deeper within a muscle. You can think of it as a larger nervous system response because your body has to recruit more motor units. In addition, we can not just focus on weight, but we can focus on the type of lifting, compound lifts versus isolated lifts. And this is really important for understanding why compound lifts and barbell lifts in particular are so important as part of your training system. A compound lift which uses more muscle groups will require a larger nervous system response than an isolated lift. A deadlift will require a larger nervous system response than a bicep curl, where the communication patterns between the neuromuscular junctions have to be more efficient. And this becomes more efficient by you training over time, training your compound lifts over time. This is what you are doing, not just increasing muscle size, tearing fibers, but you are improving the efficiency and the ability of your nervous system to communicate from the sensory input to the motor output. By doing this, you are reprogramming the way that your body communicates. Now, it's common sense to think that as part of your macro cycle, your yearly training, at some point this is surely going to be beneficial to you. And so Dorian Yates also used acceleration during his lifts. Within this, he talks about the speed of his lifts, this idea of thinking of weightlifting as a sprint. Now, this is more bodybuilding focused, but nonetheless applicable to understanding the nervous system. That slow negative, the spring coiling, and then accelerating through the positive. It is highly intense exercises which create large stress on your nervous system. Think about box jumps, plyometrics, sprinting. Similarly, when you are training for muscle size, don't just think about your dumbbell chest press. Think about making it intense. Now, of course, you can do this with weight, but you can also do this with acceleration through the positive. How many people ignore that vital yet simple method for creating intensity within your workout? And so then think about this. If you add moderate weight to the lift, such as Olympic lifting, imagine the adaptations and reprogramming and stresses that you're creating on your body. This is why I constantly say that Olympic lifting is one of the greatest things you can do, especially if you're looking for athletic performance and power development. It is hard to just say that a hard, intense workout will lead to nervous system fatigue based on research, but it is fair to say that the more intense exercises you have within one session, the more box jumps, sprints, heavy deadlifts, acceleration movements, the more you have the potential for fatiguing your nervous system. And so this is where I would talk about programming and the importance of having rest days, or the importance of understanding your nervous system and alternating intense workouts with more moderate to light workouts. This is why certain people who advocate one form of training and rubbish all the rest of them are selling you wolf tickets. It's just not correct. You have to vary what you are doing, and it's by understanding your central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, which is sending these messages through your synapses right to the end, to your muscle fibers, to create this sensory output. Not just focusing on muscle size, six packs, aesthetics, that you can increase the effectiveness of your programming. And so what I want to ask you for comments, for those of you who are so great at supporting my channel, who subscribe, who comment all the time, thank you so much. And I want you to comment on this. Within your training, I want to know, how do you think about the nervous system when you are programming your training? This could be the type of training you are doing, the frequency of your training. This can be the order of your exercises through training. You have certain methods within strength and conditioning where you start with heavy lifts and then you progressively work through the same muscle groups, from heavy lifts to more explosive body weight movements, all down that spectrum. That would be an example of thinking about the nervous system within the exercise order. So there's so much that you can think about. I'm James Linker. Happy New Year, Shredded Sports Science. This year I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. Please help me in doing that and sharing my videos. Thank you so much for the support. See you soon.